Hi, I am Rose, and this is just a little presentation I put together for you guys at Brand Spark Collective. And it's very nice to meet you, and I am very eager to start. So, my current position right now is I'm a marketing student, and I'm an assistant coordinator at Promise South Salt Lake. And here's just like kind of an agenda of kind of like a list, if you will, of what I will be talking about in this presentation. I'll go through my background, all that fun and fancy stuff. I'll also talk about my professional growth as a student and as an employee. And I will be talking about my personal improvements and my future goals, as well as just having a last page of any questions you guys may have and how you guys can reach me and contact me, because I think that's important. So let's get started. So, a little bit about me is I enjoy being out. I love going out. I love being outdoors. I love hiking with my friends. There's a picture of me and my friends. Those are my hiking buddies. And I also love to travel. I've go to Florida almost all the time, but that's because I have family there. But I always try to travel um, a lot during the year. I think we need to give ourselves grace and really listen to ourselves and give ourselves just like a little break from work or school, because it's healthy. It's so healthy. And I'm also a very creative person. I teach myself a lot of hobbies, I would say. And recently I picked up sewing, and I've been able to sew my own pants. I really haven't nailed shirts yet, but we will get to that, and I will achieve that. And I also am in a relationship. I've been in a relationship for 2 years, and yeah, that's my boyfriend. He's right there, and he's amazing. So, let's talk about my accomplishments. Because I work with after school programs at a tier 1 school through the city of South Salt Lake, it's very very hard to encourage youth at a tier 1 school, but I'm very happy to say that we have increased school test scores by 20%. We have reports on that, and it was a little difficult at first because I kind of started a little bit later within the school year. I started around like October, but it's been amazing to see that we actually do make a difference with the kids at our school sites, and it shows by their test scores, because it's important for kids to care for their academics and to actually be engaged. So that's amazing. And I learned how to budget. Although I did take some classes at my colleges, I've it's totally different than actually doing it in person, but that's a big achievement of mine, is to budget a lump sum amount of money at our school site, and like doing it really well and doing it on a monthly basis, because we constantly have to be checking our budget. And I also work full time, and I go to school full time. So I'm very happy to say that I have maintained a 3.89 GPA, and I've been giving a certification from the dean. So I'm on the dean's list, and I was like, "What?" Like, that's amazing. I am very proud of that. I'm proud of myself, because it's a lot of hard work I'm putting in, a lot of hard work and a lot of time, and I'm very happy to say that I was on the dean's list. These are some of my skills. Some of these skills I have learned by myself, and some of these skills I have learned through school. So, at my current position, I do use Salesforce, but I taught myself how to use Salesforce. There wasn't really a training necessarily. We do have to do a lot of reports through Salesforce. We use Salesforce pretty much every day, as well as this other software that I just barely got taught by my coordinator, and it's called QuickBase, but that's how we track our attendance and our prevention lessons sessions, I would say. I learned Microsoft software through school, but because I learned that through school and I'm very much familiar with Excel, Word, all that fun stuff, I then apply that to Google software, which is what I use at work. And it's great. It's literally the same thing, although I think Excel is better. And I have told my coordinator, why don't we just switch to Excel? She said, I don't know. And I said, well, that's totally valid. That's totally fine. And at our school sites, we host a lot of family and engaging events in the elementary school I'm at, as well as through the city of South Salt Lake. And that is just a great way to engage with the families, engage with the community in South Salt Lake. And it's just so amazing that we are able to do that. We are able to volunteer. I sometimes make the flyers to send out, and I just love being creative and making sure that by word of mouth, everybody gets involved with these things because it's always nice getting to know people in our community. I taught myself how to use social media. There have been times where I have gone viral on TikTok. I deleted the videos though, and I deleted my account. So I there's no there's no proof of that. But on YouTube, I have posted a video. It was one of my first videos, and I've actually gotten a few views on that, like around, I would say like 2,000 views. Even though that's not a lot, I mean, that's still a lot for YouTube, especially because it's hard to get engagement and because the engagement that you get has to be through click through rates, if that makes sense. So I have studied like the analytics side of the social media platforms. I've been experimenting with myself through Instagram, and it's going. I've noticed that posting more reels or like videos on Instagrams will get you more views. So it's always great to experiment and learn how to engage with an audience through social media. I think that's great, especially with a marketing specialist position. That is very important because you do have to study those. And I also learned how to budget. I have been taking classes though, like accounting courses, finance courses before, but it's totally different when you actually have to do it for a position. And with skills, obviously, there comes challenges. One of the challenges I faced starting my position was just networking and getting used to communicating through emails or through technology because all my previous positions before have just been no use of technology. I was a childcare specialist, so obviously we can't use our phones or our computers. The only time we did was to create lessons, but that's not really applying it to like data entry, if that makes sense, or a marketing position. So these were some of the challenges I faced recently starting out, as well as networking. But after a couple of like weeks and just recently, I have made a connection with one of our departments at the city of South Salt Lake. And she connected with me in person, which is great because um, it's just hard to connect, especially in person. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about in this in this slide was that some things that the my courses at Utah Valley University have taught me was that networking is so important. And I've gone to two networking events at Utah Valley University, and I've connected with peers and classmates, even professionals that work at Cozy Earth, one that works at Bucked Up, one that works for Squire, and even like the president of the marketing association at UVU. And it's so important to get those connections, um, and try to communicate with them. Doesn't I don't think it necessarily matters how, but just to give yourself that extra step so you can be confident in your role in your career and things like that. So I'm very proud that I made a connection in person with the arts department at the city of South Salt Lake. And I have her email and everything, so I'm very proud of that. And some of my goals from now is to be working with a company who can give me that marketing experience. And I have been wanting to increase a social media audience. That's kind of why I've been experimenting with myself right now. And I'd be loving to do freelance work and creating successful campaigns for companies. And yeah, marketing myself. I'm going into marketing. Why not market myself? And these are kind of the strategies that I want to go through in order to do that. I've just been studying the analytics of videos, having an online presence, and just make sure to be consistent with the audience and things like that. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. There's my information. And thank you so much for your time.